Hi Taurus, welcome to your February 2018 reading. Let's get right into it. Something came up. First card out, 5 of Brooms, 5 of Wands. So I used this deck called the Ghetto Tarot, for those of you who are still wondering. The Ghetto Tarot. Photographic reinterpretation of the Rider-Waite. It was made in Haiti, so it's all Haitian actors, Haitian artists. Alright, so Taurus, let's get back into what's going on with your energy. And I feel very much like I just want to get to the point. Before I began the reading, I kept having sort of these visions of eyes, or like clearing the eyes, or going to an eye doctor, like an optometrist, or seeing things clearly. Like you're standing on a mountaintop and like there was a storm and it's clearing up and the clouds are parting and the sun's coming out. So it's kind of like a clearing of vision. Seeing things clearly, seeing things differently. That's kind of what I am picking up on. Where did it go? Anyway, I want to tie my hair back. So that's kind of what, it's on the floor. So that's kind of what came up for me initially when I was meditating over the cards and what's going on with Taurus energy. Oh, y'all are in like a rush. There's something that y'all are like rushing towards, or feeling like I have to get to it, or you're just like, I feel like there's been a new realization about something, and now you're kind of realizing that maybe previously you might have fucked up or made some, or you know, misstepped along the way, and now it's like you either are trying to go out of your way to fix it, or you're trying to go out of your way to, you know, reconcile the situation. That's what I'm picking up on. So yeah, 5 of Wands, 5 of Brooms, they're called Brooms in this deck, was the first card to pop out. So I feel that there are a lot of people around you, and you might be feeling like those people are kind of getting in your way. They mean well, but they're getting in your way. Like, you feel like people are getting in between you and a goal that you have. Or there are situations that have become very conflicting or very sort of contentious, and you're trying to either clear that up to get to peace with this person or the situation, or you are wanting to just kind of push it to the side. So a lot of people around you, they mean well, right? Like this 5 of Wands conflict energy is not that, it's not that serious. It's not like the 10 of Wands, right? Or the 3 of Swords, right? It's just kind of like petty conflict almost. But nonetheless, like, you have people that are around you. Some of them are trying to work with you. Like, I feel like a lot of these people are trying to work with you and are trying to support you, but you're just kind of so stubborn and like bullheaded right now that you're just like, I have my own way in which I want to fix these situations. Thanks, sit down, I appreciate you, not the right time. That's kind of what I feel is going on. Like, y'all are gonna kind of do what you want to do regardless of what other people are trying to advise you not to do or to do. But I feel like you know exactly what it is that you need to be doing. Yeah. 4 of Brooms, 4 of Wands. So there is a situation that you are trying to stabilize, that you feel that you know where it is that you need to go, right? So the 5 of Wands becomes the 4 of Wands, which I think is a positive thing. It's a step down from the conflict and a step back into harmony. So I feel like a lot of you, whatever sort of situation you're trying to clean up, it gets cleaned up. But let's get more of a bigger picture of what this situation is. Nothing's coming out. That's interesting. Sorry for all the shuffling. Nothing. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Coming up is the Knight of Brooms again, or the Knight of Wands. So I think that a lot of you are definitely feeling very anxious and motivated to sort of get some things done. We do have the Hermit and the Hanged Man here, which I feel like are almost total complete opposite or like contrasting energies to what I'm picking up for you all right now. So we're going to clarify those cards in a second. I do want to get a better picture of what's going on with y'all. Okay. Bottom of the deck. 3 of Brooms, 3 of Wands. So, yeah. I feel like I said before, right? Because the 3 of Wands in the traditional Rider-Waite, the character is looking out over like into the horizon top of a mountain. So that's what I was kind of envisioning for you guys, was that there was like standing on a mountain, looking out and seeing things clearly, but also seeing like, man, I really fucked that up. Or, or man, like, I could have done better, or what am I doing? Or like, I have all of these things that are sort of trying to fight for my attention and my energy, and I really don't, like, I'm realizing that like, these are the things that aren't going to serve me. These are the things that aren't going to fulfill me. Almost like these are kind of like distractions, I want to say, but I do also want to stick to the narrative that I gave you before, where there are people around you that are really trying to help and support you, but they're doing it in ways that are conflicting with what you know to be your highest good in a lot of ways, right? And I feel like this Hermit card here, let's rearrange that. I wonder how the lighting is. I hope you guys can see. Let me know how the lighting is in the comments below if you care to. So yeah, like I said before, 3 of Brooms. A lot of you are looking out and just kind of, I feel like the storm is clearing. I feel like we had that Taurus full moon, right? Back in November. And I feel like that full moon really jolted a lot of you. It really just kind of shook a lot of you up and kind of initiated this process of transformation. Whether you're conscious of it or not is really between you and yourself, right? But there was a process of transformation that was initiated with that Taurus full moon in Scorpio, especially for you Taurus risings, right? That process happened, and that it's been very painful, and it's been very sort of, it's been very painful, been very visceral, been very, it's been very eye-opening, right? For you to kind of see, to have things shooken up that way in your first house. And I say Taurus risings because the full moon actually happened in your first house, right? So yeah, I feel like you're still sort of navigating. I feel like a lot of these shifts, like if you can think back to what was going on in your life in November and really observe like what happened in November around the time of the full moon and what has happened since then, and you're probably going to notice or be aware of a lot of things transforming, or a lot of aspects of yourself needing to die away, a lot of parts of who you are needing to be exposed so that they can be dealt with. So I'm really getting that, you know, this has been a long, like these readings are a continuation for you guys since like the full moon has happened in your sign back when the sun was in Scorpio back in November. So yeah, you know what's best, right? And I feel like this Queen of Pentacles and this Hermit card really speak to you. Like both of these characters, both of these people in these cards are looking at what would be symbolic of their inner knowing, their inner light, their value, their worth, right? This Queen of Pentacles card is an earth sign card. This is representative of your energy. So I definitely feel that this is you recognizing and realizing what it is that you have within you that either needs to change, or there's a realization. There's something that I want to say either somebody took for granted about you, right? And now they're really observing and looking at this thing like, wow, I took this Taurus, this person, this very dependable, kind of steadfast, in it for the long haul individual for granted. Or maybe you are, like I said before, with this Three of Wands energy here at the bottom of the deck, right? And we have the Three of Swords at the bottom of the deck also, right? So some kind of different kind of perspective, a new perspective on possibly a situation that maybe hurt you or hurt somebody else or hurt both of you. New perspective on heartbreak in general, new perspective on your healing, new perspective on, you know, these swords that are in your heart that need to be pulled out and what each of them might represent. It could be a relationship, family issues, you know, career issues, financial failures, right? Perceived financial failures, because for earth signs, when you fail financially or when you're not doing well financially, it can feel as though like, yeah, I might as well be heartbroken. Like, I'm not secure. I don't feel safe. I don't feel grounded. And it's really fucking with my sense of how I see myself, right? And my inner light. And so I feel that a lot of this is like, you know, a realization that either someone took you for granted or that you took something for granted in somebody else. That there was something of great value that was before you and you ended up taking it for granted, right? And now there's this kind of rush. There's this kind of rush with this Knight of Brooms, this Five of Wands or Five of Brooms, and we have this Four of Brooms. There's this sort of rush to fight back through the fog to get to this. To get to this energy, right? And it could potentially be with another earth sign, right? Because I see the Four of Wands in conjunction with this Queen of Pentacles and this realization that whoever this person is actually had a lot of the qualities, right, that you look for in a partner. They were independent. They did their own thing. They were financially sound. So I'm getting a read that there's now this sudden sort of wanting to go back to this energy that you initially had with this person, this Four of Wands energy with this Queen of Pentacles. Right? Again, this could be, because this is an earth sign card and it is you, this could also be somebody, a fire sign, right? This could also very much represent a fire sign or an energy that has all of a sudden been sparked and motivated with all this passion and energy, right? Has all of a sudden had these kind of realizations. This fire sign might have had these realizations of like, oh wow, what did I do? I'm seeing this whole situation very clearly now. I'm seeing it through different lenses. I'm seeing it through a broader perspective, a less subjective and narrowed perspective. I'm seeing things more objectively and more wider, more broader, right? And I'm realizing what I've done. I'm realizing how the other person might be feeling, right? Because sometimes when we're in relationships, it's very hard for us to step out and try to put ourselves in that other person's shoes when we're feeling hurt, especially. So maybe this person is like, wow, I'm finally seeing how this person might feel, right? And the same fire sign who's standing here with their brooms, the same fiery energy, the same energy that is suddenly being evoked with passion and fire, right, is now feeling like I have to rush back to this queen. I have to rush back to this very stable, sturdy earth energy, which is what you all have, right, as a Taurus. I have to rush back to this energy because I'm realizing that I actually created a lot of conflict with this individual when in reality it was going really, really well. Right? There was a lot of stability, right? And it was like this fire energy, right? Because wands represent fire. So it was like this fire energy was still able to have its wands. This fire energy was able to still bring its wands, its wands of creation, its wands of fire, its wands of passion, its wands of, you know, exuberance with it, and still experience stability with you. Like, you were like, you can bring your wands and we can still make this work, right? like you were okay with this person's nature. Like it was almost like you were cool with this person being maybe a little flighty, maybe even a little flaky, right? Maybe even a little bit kind of, you know, unpredictable, spontaneous, right? You were okay with that. You told this person, I actually really like that about you. And that we can use to actually also set a foundation for space, for when we need space, right? Because when two people come together, they both determine sort of, they do this dance with one another to kind of figure out, well, how much space do you need? How much intimacy do you need, right? And then it's like this back and forth. And you are very sort of willing to give this person a lot of space and a lot of breathing room. And you were cool with like, okay, yeah, it's going back and forth. It's feeling really good. It's, you know, it feels balanced, and maybe the other person or you began to kind of need more space, and it causes the other person to want to chase a little bit more, right? But nonetheless, you were okay. You were okay with this person bringing their wands, and that it was still going to be something stable. It was still something that you could work with and build a foundation off of. You were totally cool with this Knight of Wands bringing, you know, their wands of spontaneity and, you know, kind of flippant a little bit, right? A little bit of flippant energy, right? But I'm definitely reading now that this fire sign is kind of wondering where you are and is almost kind of looking for you, right? But meanwhile, I feel that you're here doing your thing, right? And this can also be read backwards, right? That this could be you also sort of rushing to kind of realizing that like, oh, this person was willing to give me a lot of space and all the vacillating that I've been doing and all the kind of, you know, because Taurus is very sturdy and dependable, and it has a very stable nature, and you can always count on a Taurus. But I feel like since what's been going on, I feel like since the November full moon, where we had the Taurus full moon, I feel like a lot of Taurans that I know, and a lot of people that have a lot of Taurus energy in their charts, there's been this kind of shift, I want to say, to a more or a less dependable side of you has come out since that full moon, right? And it's a side of you that I feel that needs to come out, that needs breathing room. It's a side of you that actually like needed to see the day of the light of day, almost. Like you needed to experience being in that kind of, oh my God, all of a sudden, like I'm usually really dependable. I'm not answering phone calls. I'm not returning text messages. I'm not showing up for this person or for this person. Like what's going on? I don't have a job. I feel really unstable in my physical body. I feel really insecure in a lot of ways in my physical life, in my body, in my financial sector, my career sector. Work isn't going very well. I might not even have a job. Like there were a lot of things that came up for a lot of Taurans recently where it was like, wow, like I'm actually not on my game right now. And that there was somebody in your midst who was allowing you, right? And when we're not on our game, we can become very flippant and unreliable in a lot of ways, because we're trying to figure things out, right? And navigate all the different ebbs and flows of things not working out for us right now, right? And I feel like you not being in that nature of being able to be dependent on also is affecting your self-esteem, right? And that there was somebody in your midst who saw, right? Who was like, oh, I see that you're kind of struggling and you're going through whatever you're going through, but I'm still down I can hold it down. I got it. I can hold it down. I really like you. I really like what we have going on. I can hold it down, right? But for whatever reason, maybe you couldn't. Maybe you needed to just kind of do your own thing for a little bit and disappear for a while. Who knows? But it's going both ways. Whereas there's a fire energy that's recognizing, wow, this person actually was holding me down, or you realizing like, wow, this person was actually holding me down in the midst of me feeling very disorganized and chaotic in my life. Now we have the Hermit and the Nine of Cups. 2 nines. So the cycle is almost completed. The cycle's almost over, right? You're almost towards the end of whatever conflict, right? Whatever internal chaos you've been experiencing. I do want to clarify the Hermit, though, and get a better idea of what the Hermit really represents. I feel like it's very similar to the Queen of Pentacles, where it's more so an even deeper realization, right? Of the light and the love that you were sharing with whoever this person is, right? This observance. And in this observance, right, another reiteration with the Hanged Man here of a change in perspective. Right, that these 2 cards represent sort of a moment of pause, a moment of silence, right? That when we have moments of silence, we get to reflect, right? On either someone that we love, things that we need to let go of, parts of ourselves that we love and that we also want to change, right? That there's a moment of silence here that's then followed by a very, very quick burst of like, I gotta fix this now. That's what I'm feeling for you all. That sounds like a lot. Let's get clarification for the Hermit, though. Can you clarify the Hermit? I want to get a better idea. Can you clarify the Hermit for Taurus? Clarify the Hermit for Taurus. Yep. So we have the Fool. Let's clarify the Hanged Man. A lot of new beginnings. I'm really feeling like whatever sort of holding pattern you guys have been in for like the last 2 months since November, I feel like like I said, like the storm is breaking. The storm is breaking. And I'm trying to think what's happening astrologically to where that could be energetically causing that or affecting that, but I'm drawing a blank right now. Let's clarify the Hanged Man. Can you clarify the Hanged Man for Taurus? Yeah. Yeah, lots and lots and lots and lots of new perspective, cards on new perspective, cards on new beginnings, cards on, rebuilding. We don't have the Tower here, but I think you've already went through that. I think the Tower phase has kind of come and gone for a lot of you guys. So you have the Fool here. So I feel like a lot of you are ready to embark on something entirely new. This is reiterated with the Ace of Swords. I feel like, they're called machetes in this deck, Ace of Machetes. And with the Hanged Man, being a clarifier for the Hanged Man, right? Seeing things from a new perspective. Seeing things differently, as literally, quite literally, because this person's hanging upside down. And I feel like also cutting away, because the Hanged Man is a great card for, right, if you're asking about, new perspectives, if you're asking about transformations, right, this is a great card to receive because it does indicate somebody who is having some form of enlightenment, right? Simply by just sitting on their hands. Having enlightenment by lack of doing anything, allowing God's wisdom and God's will to kind of work its way in, instead of being extremely willful. But I feel like sometimes this card can also speak to stagnation, can also speak to not doing anything in the sense of inertia, where then you're stuck in the new perspective, and being stuck in the new perspective kind of trips you up, right? Like now we have this 9 of Swords at the bottom of the deck, right? So now it's like, there's an opportunity here. When we see things differently and how we might have treated people, there's an opportunity to take action, right? There's an opportunity to kind of, reconcile the situation. But sometimes then we can get too stuck in the mental of like, oh my God, I really fucked up. Now I can't do anything, right? Now we're kind of caught in between this, like, I have a new perspective on this thing and I can either take action or I can sit and feel sorry for myself over kind of whatever I'm realizing. Right? That there's this fear that if I were to make this offer again, or that if I were to come forth to this person, and it doesn't even have to be that you're offering them a new relationship, but that there is a realization that there was someone of value in your life. There was someone of value who had the capacity to, who made you almost kind of feel like this, whether it was more inclined, whether you were ready for a relationship or not, or whether it was romantic, or whether, like, I'm not seeing a lot of cups here, right? But I'm definitely seeing that there was somebody who was holding it down for you, who was allowing you to kind of be fucked up a little bit, right? Not that you are fucked up, but was allowing you space to kind of be a little bit unmanageable for the time being, right? Because just because you're unmanageable, or just because, you know, you don't sometimes we still end up finding ourselves in situations even when we feel that the timing is not right, quote unquote, right? That, like, it doesn't matter. The heart wants what the heart wants when the heart wants it. And there was this realization that, oh wow, like, there was this person in my life who was allowing me to kind of be a little bit flaky and unmanageable, and was still holding it down, and was still able to kind of see the possibility of a foundation to be built. Like, they didn't look like this person, he or she didn't look at me and wasn't like, oh, you don't have a job, you don't have this, you don't have that, get away from me. It was like, oh, I got you. Like, I really like you and I want to see you succeed. I want to see you have all the things that you want to have. Like, they kind of gave you this sense of hope, this sense of feeling that you could, right, start anew, start over, and have faith that things were going to work out. And I feel like with this Ace of Machetes, right, that this sword is sort of cutting you free from the inertia, right? Like, not only are you receiving new ideas, quite literally, right? Like, you're receiving new ideas, new ways of thinking about things, right? Right, and underneath this Hangman, we have the Two of Swords, which is another card of inaction, another card of inertia, right? This can be definitely seen in a more physical sense, like maybe you literally, because of lack of finances, or maybe you don't have a vehicle, or, you know, just having a lot of limitations that you physically were limited, right? Maybe you couldn't go out as much, or you couldn't go on that vacation that you wanted, or maybe you're dealing with a lot of physical pain and you can't actually physically move your body very much, or things that you used to do very easily, you can't do anymore, right? But there's some kind of breakthrough. There's something that cuts you free from whatever that inertia or that bondage is, right? And that as a result of being in this physical kind of inertia, you've also kind of been in this mental standstill. And this mental stalemate where it's like, I have these two options, or I have these two ways that I could go, right? Where is that? Right? It's like, I have these two ways that I could go. I have new perspective on how a situation might have turned out, and I have the option to either sit and worry about it or take action and make myself vulnerable. Like, which one are you going to choose? Right? That's what I feel like this card is speaking of. And this Nine of Cups, I feel like, is definitely just you taking stock of what it is that you do have. I feel like this is a card, this to me is like gratitude for a lot of you right now. Let's clarify it though, because I do want to get a better idea of why this Nine of Cups is coming up, especially since we have two nines here. Yeah, let's clarify the Nine of Cups. Can I get clarification for the Nine of Cups, please? Clarification for the Nine of Cups for Taurus. Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune. So I'm really getting a feeling that this is about, yes, things turning in your favor, but things more so turning in the way that they need to be balanced out. Sorry, my computer died, so I had to plug it back in. But where were we at? We were at this Nine of Cups and this Wheel of Fortune, right? And it took a minute to kind of process what this relationship is pointing towards. But I feel like, to me, it's, don't be too overly optimistic, right? That if you are the person, Taurus, in this situation who created the rift, right? Who was really more on the end of helping to create this Three of Swords energy between you and this person, right? Because both people contribute to creating this. Both people, in their own ways, help create this energy and help manifest it. But usually one person is probably more responsible than the other for the culmination of it, right? Of it all. For the occurrence of it all. So if you are on the end of, you have been the person that might have been more so the creator of that Three of Swords energy, and now you're realizing, wow, like I had this opportunity and it gave me a lot of breathing room, and it was also very stabilizing at the same time, right? Like it was a very beautiful mix of spontaneity and independence and space mixed with intimacy and foundation building and friendship and closeness and whatever it may be, right? And now you're kind of trying to get back into, you know, the swing of things with this person, or there's communication that you want to bring in, or there's inertia, right? There's some kind of standstill in the situation that you want to cut free, that you want to kind of let go of, that you want to just say, no, I want things to move forward now, or something needs to happen. I don't know exactly what it is. Like, I don't know exactly what is in this cup that you're offering, or this other person's offering you. It could just be as simple as a conversation. It could be a chance for a new relationship, right? It could be a chance for the rekindling of friendship. But whatever it is, there's something that it is that you are trying to bring back to the table, and there is sort of this sense of wanting to cut free from the lack of movement, right? Which might have been necessary for the time being, but don't be too overly optimistic that you have it in the bag, right? That, like, what goes around comes around. What goes up must come down. As above, as below, right? So things need to balance out and things need to even themselves out. And again, if you are on the end where this is you, right? Which to me also makes just as much sense, that it would be, you know, you being this Knight of Brooms, right? But if this is you and you're dealing with a fire sign who definitely is realizing their part, right, in creating this, and that they're now trying to rush back into you, that I see this Nine of Cups as you sitting here and actually feeling quite confident and comfortable with yourself, that you are counting your blessings, right? That in the inertia, in the standstill of this situation as the Hermit and the Hanged Man, that you are feeling confident to have new beginnings in your life. You are feeling a breath of fresh air, so to speak. That there might have been creative blocks, there might have been a standstill with creative energy, like there might have been some projects that you were trying to figure out, trying to work on, trying to get to fruition, and the inertia, like it's almost as if like the sword has come and cut you free from being in bondage on this ladder, right? On this kind of, you know, holding pattern. You've been cut free from this holding pattern, right? And you feel very secure in all that. Like, I feel like a lot of you are really counting your blessings, right? Like, there have been some things, there have been some hardships, there have been some difficulties, and a lot of you are really counting your blessings and really trying to be in gratitude. And that sense of gratitude in and of itself brings in more fortune, brings in more luck, brings more of the things that you are grateful for. And I think I told this to Aquarius or Sagittarius, right? That the more you're grateful, you know, the more open you are to receiving, right? When we're constantly in a space of like, I don't have enough of this, I don't have enough of that, then the universe looks down on you like, well, why should I give you more if you're not even grateful for what I'm giving you right now, right? So now we have this Two of Swords, Two of Machetes energy here. And this, I've heard this card on more than one occasion sort of described as a friends in arm, right? Like somebody who has your back, somebody who will go to battle for you, right? That you guys are friends in arm, that there is a definite connection there. But I'm still reading it also as a mental standstill, very similar to the Hangman. So let's get clarification for the Two of Swords. And then I want to ask how we can break out of this energy for you guys. So what does this Two of Swords card mean here for Taurus? Can you clarify the Two of Swords? Okay, yeah. So, you know, I do feel that, you know, there is communication that comes in from this fire sign, or you are trying to initiate communication with another earth sign or a very earthy, you know, dependable kind of person. And on the other end of it, this Two of Swords is speaking to some kind of hesitation, fear, and expectation. Because this card to me also speaks of the like she's holding these two swords because she's also there's kind of like this expectation that she's going to get attacked from either side, right? She can't see what's to come. She can't see what's in front of her. She can't see what anything truly is. So now she feels like she has to be on guard, right? Like when we can't see what's truly in front of us, or when we feel that we've been bamboozled or we've had the wool pulled over our eyes before, we feel like we've been bamboozled, that now we have our guard up. So whoever this person is, this person may be you or the other person that you're dealing with, right? That you or them might be feeling like, well, I was tricked once, I won't get tricked again. And so there's this sense of really being on guard, really needing to protect yourself, really needing to kind of sit sturdy and almost kind of stubbornly in what it is that you, in your values, in your truth, in your boundaries. Like this is like ultimate boundary setting, right? Ultimate boundary setting. And these energies usually appear, right, especially when we've dealt with somebody before and they come back and we know what kind of bullshit they're on and they come back. Ultimate boundary setting, right? It's not really a good idea to walk into new situations with this energy. Yes, we want to be cautious and observant and look at how people are acting and treating other people, but we don't want to walk into these relationships. But once we've already kind of been burned or we feel like we've been bamboozled, then yeah, there is a need to kind of keep your guard up. There is that need. So this person might definitely feel, right, if you are this Knight of Brooms who was rushing back in to kind of reconcile with this Queen of Pentacles, that this person is going to be very much on guard with you. They're going to be very on guard with you. They're going to have all kinds of defense mechanisms up around you. And it might just be for their own good and their own protection for now, right? It doesn't mean that things aren't going to get better or that things will change. But it just means that for now, this person still has their own healing, right? Like both of you might be healing from this energy. And we don't know where this person is at on the spectrum, right? And if you are this energy, then yeah, I would also suggest to kind of take the blindfold off and see exactly what it is you're kind of pointing your swords at. Like don't go swinging your swords you know, and they really mean well, right? Like, be careful of how you wield this, how you yield this sword. Wield, I don't know the proper. Be careful of how you utilize those two swords, right? Because you might hurt somebody that actually has good intentions for you. But nonetheless, you're still persistent. You still have hope. You're still like, all right, we'll see. So I was going to ask, how can we break out of this energy? But I feel like this energy might be necessary for now, just for you to kind of protect yourself, right? Take off the blindfold. Really look at what it is that you're dealing with, right? Like, this person has taken off his blindfold. Like, his blindfold is up on his forehead, so we can see what's coming. So he knows what to strike at and what not to. Just be mindful of what to strike at and what not to. Let's get an outcome card for Taurus. Can we get an outcome for Taurus for February 2018? Outcome for Taurus for February 2018. Outcome for Taurus. Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm. And the High Priestess at the bottom. We have Judgment and the Eight of Cups. Yeah. So for some of you, I definitely feel that whatever communication does come in, I feel that, you know, a lot of truth is going to be spoken. Realizations about what really went down is going to surface. And that, A, it's either going to result in an actual walking away, right, of either you or this other person from this situation, or it's going to, you know, initiate, because the Eight of Cups to me, like, yes, can represent walking away from something physically, but it's more so on a symbolic level of walking away from things emotionally that no longer fulfill us. So maybe in the wake of this judgment, in the wake of this truth and this honesty and this communication, right? These realizations that come through with the Hermit, right? In the wake of all of this, there is now this realization that, like, I really have to either walk away from engaging with this person in this way, right? Or I have to walk away from this kind of certain kind of expectation from this person. Or, yeah, walk away from the relationship itself. That there's something about the way in which you've been doing this that needs to be transformed. That it's not fulfilling you or the other person. And so either the way in which you're doing it needs to change so you both can feel fulfilled, or one of you needs, or one of you or both of you just needs to walk away from it. Right? And these cups can also represent the different things that we cling to emotionally. The different habits and patterns and cycles that we cling to that we're realizing are no longer necessary for us. Right? That this journey is more so an internal emotional journey than an actual outward walking away of something. But it's more so, I see it as you walking away from a part of you, right? A cycle, a pattern, a habit, a way of doing things, a harmful way of doing things that no longer works. And that there's truth about it. There's a lot of truth about it. All right, Taurus. So that is your reading for February 2018. And I love you guys, and I will see you in March. All right, bye.